first, okay?
Okay.
Because the other two are interlinked, right? So that's the
Okay.
reason why I'm doing Vygotsky first.
Okay.
Okay, alrighty. Did you try and do any research on
No,
these
I was
three?
focusing on all of the other stuff. You know, the past paper that
Uh-huh.
we were talking. So I was just arranging all my information, like, you know, because I realized all of my notes were completely out of place. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write like paper one, question one. These are all the things I need to remember. These are all the features I need to look out for. And then question two, these are all the features I need to look out for. So
Yes.
it's like really easy for me, something like that. So I was just busy doing that. I was gathering my information, and then I'm gonna solve the paper. I feel like it was.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you're now in the process of organizing. I was getting a
Yeah,
bit
I really
stressed
need to
over this.
organize. Miss, you don't need to stress. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine.
What about the 13th of August? Is it the 13th?
It's not the 13th.
Is
1
it
week left next week.
yeah, 13th of August, yeah. 13th or
Yeah.
15th? It was one of
13th,
the days.
13th,
13th,
13th.
okay.
Yeah.
Shall I be stressed about the 13th?
Yes, because I am stressed.
That is the day I'm not stressed about because I'm very confident in your case.
Okay.
We could say that.
Okay.
So now Vygotsky had this theory. Now his theory is called the social development theory.
Okay.
Okay. Now he said that a child's
Oh, it's a
remember I told you,
she.
yeah, he or
I
she,
thought it was a he.
no, it is he. It is a he.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
he. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I heard she, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So he said that a child and their mental brain related development, so child's cognitive development. The reason why I'm using the key terms is because I want you to use the same in the answer. So
Okay.
cognitive is the brain, basically, the brain.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a brain. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a child's cognitive development and their learning ability can be so you basically develop a child's mind and their ability to learn things through social interaction. So that's the reason why it's called a social development theory, is because he believed in the social interactions and their importance in development. So social interactions like how you communicate with a child, how you effectively um, create, give them attention, you give them
Mm-hmm.
a reaction. For instance, let's say, so how did we ever know that the color red is associated with hot, right? It's because, I mean, once a child, let's say a 1 year old or 2 year old, puts his hand maybe in fire, they'll never do it again. So why? Because every time they'll see something that is bright, that is red, that is flaming, that is, they will build up this perception that it's hot and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to hurt me, right? So
Yes.
or that the process in primary socialization where parents channelize, and the canalization process of pink for girls, blue for boys, associating that ew. But have you ever seen a kid when I tell a boy, I'm like, oh, why don't you use this? They're like, no, ew, it's pink. So boys are like,
Oh, Miss,
they
Miss,
know.
your voice is cutting off.
Okay, one sec. All right. I am connected to the good Wi-Fi. Um,
Like
shall I
it's getting
repeat
high
myself?
pitch and then all of a sudden it's going like very low. So,
Okay. I'll repeat myself. Okay,
okay,
because
yes,
I'm
please.
connected to the good Wi-Fi. If I switch to the other one, it'll probably get worse.
Okay.
So just let me know and I'll repeat myself. So he said that it's the social interaction, right? So it's how things are channelized in our minds, and then it develops. It's the social environment that builds our uh, personalities, a child's personality. So when I say "our," I mean a child, because we're studying
Okay.
children, right? So his part of the theory, so he said, his theory, he said that children, that we are born with um four um elementary functions, he called them elementary mental functions.
Okay.
So we're born with four core functions. One, attention. I'm going to explain them in detail. I'm just
Okay.
listing them down first. Attention,
Okay.
sensation, perception,
Okay.
and memory. Okay,
Okay.
so it is actually, I'm going to go detail. Let me just explain the whole concept first. So
Okay.
it is our social gathering and our norms, our values, our cultural environment that allows us to use these elementary functions. Some functions children may use more than the others, but it is actually our, social and cultural environment that,
Mhm.
builds all of that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's introduce another key term. There's one more key term I had to do with you. Just
Okay.
okay. So every child knows, and mentally they have this zone, their safe zone, in simple words, if I would say. But in
Mhm.
the theorist, his version is the zone of proximal development. This you don't really. This is something you won't be able to make much application with in your
Okay.
answer. But I want you to know the concept. Now there there's this zone. This is a particular zone. This is a child's safe zone, right? This is where your development happens. A child's development happens. So it's like it represents what we can do with when there is an adult around us, or a friend around us. When we feel comfortable in that environment, we tend to learn things better. Um, that's your proximal development zone. It's like you
Oh,
learn
okay.
better in that particular zone, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's an example. I want you to listen to this example first. So think of twins who are raised in a community which boys are expected to learn and succeed, while girls are only expected to be pretty. Okay. So at the age of
Okay.
10 months, both have the ability to crawl and are in the proximal zone of development. It's their comfort zone, it's their stages of learning how to stand on their feet, and so and
Yeah.
so. Now, in this case, the father provides more opportunities to the boy in the practice in the playroom, and he has equipped and scaffolding objects, more equipment, basically. So the boy is encouraged to explore the equipment eventually. He uses to, let's say, pull himself up, right? So let's say there's a hanging bar, and he's encouraged to physically, be stronger and use those monkey bars to pull himself up. And and however, and a few days later, so there's those monkey bars, or there are so at this point, the idea is that we try to teach the boy and
Mhm.
girl how to walk. But in order to achieve that objective, this particular kid has more equipment. This boy has more equipment to use that will help him pull himself up when he's standing, right? So
Yeah.
the father has provided more equipment to the boy, okay? These are two scenarios. Now they're both twins, they're the same age, obviously 10 months, they're learning how to walk, and the boy has been given more equipment. Now, what we know that the boy has more equipment and he eventually pulls himself up. And a few hours later, he's, cruising along the structures and going here and there. And a few days later, he's standing on his feet. The girl also had the potential to stand up. Why? Because they were twins the same age, but did
Yeah.
not receive that particular support in learning the skill. Making sense? She lacked
Yeah.
support, right? So when we compare the two, we see that while the girl is still trying to get up, the boy has moved into a new zone. He knows how to balance while standing, and now he has the potential to learn how to walk. Both will eventually learn how to walk, but according to the Vygotsky, the theorist, the boy will be more skilled. Why? Because he has been given more support. The zone of proximal development. Making sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it is making
Okay.
sense.
I'll explain further. I'm explaining further. So,
Okay.
in what happens is that when we have that support, so the same principles apply to the learning and development of higher cognitive functions, and only those children who receive the learning assistance. So basically, he said, in conclusion, if I was to say Vygotsky's theory said that those children who get learning support and assistance of a mentor, a capable mentor, they can reach their full potential. Make sense?
Yeah.
So therefore, Vygotsky said that inside the zone of proximal development, learning can see development only when a child has been given that support, so that a child is able to learn those skills and go beyond their ability, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
They've been given that support. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand the first part of the theory?
Yeah.
Okay. He also said, so after this, he also builds a connection between the mental concepts and a child's speech. So he says that the inner speech develops from the external speech. Okay, this is the process of internalization. He said that the thought itself in your mind, when it develops, it leads to a conversation. So someone, I am the biggest extrovert in the whole world, I would say. But there are
Yeah.
times when I feel like I am super introvert. Like, if I have to, I have, like, I'm sometimes too scared to ask somebody to clean the table at the restaurant, or ask for extra fries or extra ketchup. Or I have my moments, right?
Yeah.
So before speaking it out, I relay that speech in my mind 200 times, all the things that I'm going to say. All right. So, I've been
Yeah.
meaning to say something at the reception of my gym from the last 2 days, but I haven't been able to. But I've been thinking about what I'm going to say constantly. It's not something challenging to say, but I don't know. I just can't say it. So the mental concept here, what he's saying, that there's a connection. Okay. I'm giving you personal examples, not cool.
Okay.
But it's like younger children, basically, there's internalization. We think and then we speak. right? So we are thinking of speeches. So your thought itself develops as a result of a conversation, and therefore younger children who do not finish this process, like they don't think and then speak, they end up thinking out loud,
Mm-hmm.
right? So once the process is complete, the inner speech, the spoken language becomes independent. Like then you just some kids when when they don't take their time and they think out loud. There's a lot of
Yeah.
kids. Have you? I mean, you're
Yeah.
you're surrounded by children,
Yeah.
so you would know.
Yep.
Some kids would think out loud. So he said that there is a connection between mental concepts and speech. So, in our question, in our exam, it could be possible that a child may be thinking out loud. So
Yeah.
there you can and relate to the process of internalization.
Okay.
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 Okay. Alrighty. So, this is what he said. Okay. Now hold on. Now I'm going to explain you the. I think I think there might be a video on the internet. Let me see if I can
Okay.
send you the link. It's on YouTube. Can I copy this and send it? Yeah. And I'm sending it to you, and then you can watch this video as well. It is a 5-minute video, but it'll give you so it'll be in a lot more detail.
Okay.
Just and then comes the. You can quickly note this down while I'm going over the other four.
Okay.
There's so many videos on the internet. You can watch
Okay.
a lot of
Yeah.
them. And then there's a comparison of Dotsky and Piaget as well.
Okay.
Um, okay, once you've written it, then I'll.
I took a picture, so it's alright.
Okay, perfect. So, if I was to conclude the whole theory, we could say that for Vygotsky, he in conclusion, we could say he strong emphasis on the social development, on on social cultural context, you could say, your development. So your society, your
Okay.
culture, your social norms, values, they play an important role in the cognitive development of a child. So Piaget said that, that in different ages you've got different stages, but
Yeah.
Vygotsky didn't really focus on the stages. Um, However, he did focus on. So there are four elements. So the one you go over this. So we've done zone of proximal development, the scaffolding, language, dialogue. He said, if I was to relate to this, so language and dialogue, he said that language plays a very important role in shaping a child's thought, shaping thought. That's where he made a connection. So both of them are interlinked. When you think, your mental concept, so what you say, you think about it, and what you
Yeah.
think, you say. That's what the internalization process was. That's what he made the connection of. So the whole important idea was that in conclusion, parents or teachers should establish opportunities for children to learn, and have more skilled peers or skilled teachers around them. Why? Because so that they can develop their cognitive ability, and they have that kind of support. So support was a very important element of his theory, right?
Yeah.
So, and when I say attention, sensation, perception, memory, those are simple English words. Attention, a child should be given attention. Sensation, they should be able to build those sensory functions. Like I gave you an example of fire and hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perception, what they see is going to build their perspectives. So,
Yeah.
a child sees abuse, they will think it's fine, it's right, it's normal because they see it happening in their house, or they see families spending time together. That will be their perception of how the society works, and they'll think that the entire society is happy. If they see toxicity at home, they'll think that the entire world is toxic. So it'll build a perception in their mind, and
Yeah.
memory is that remembering things, right? So these are
Yeah.
your four elementary functions that are built through social and cultural environment. There's a zone of proximal development, and the important part was that you learn, support, get assistance, and so and so. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
give me a second. I am going to pause. I'm going to send you the. Okay. Um. Now this we're moving forward to Chomsky's language acquisition device. Did you know research on this as well?
No. No.
Chomsky language acquisition device. Okay. Now, his theory of language. So he developed this theory to explain this idea about how children learn languages, or how they learn the language. So he said,
Okay.
um, Chomsky said that language, or how a child communicates, is a skill that they're born with. It's an innate skill. It's
Okay.
something you're born with, right? So children are born with, um, a, you could say, that's what he says, language learning tool, uh, which he actually calls a language learning device. So he says that a child is born with a language learning device. Okay, so you are born,
Okay.
I'm just writing it down later so you don't get confused. So he said this child language acquisition device, or child language learning device, is it helps explain how a child really quickly adapts to, and how they quickly learn the language. So it's not really a physical part of the brain, but it's actually a language device that they're born with. Okay. And when you compare, so I'm just looking for easier terms for you to use. Let me just see. Because this one has difficult terms and I don't want to confuse you with that. Okay. Okay, simple words. Um, the language device, the language acquisition device, it's basically it's not a physical, or it's not something biological present in your body. Okay. It's a hypothetical
Okay.
tool which helps the child quickly learn and understand the language. And according
Okay.
to his theory, language is not learned by humans accidentally. It is something. So yes, we are born with this innate. We're born with this tool. Yes, it's an innate thing. However, Chomsky says that language is something that we learn. It evolves, and we build our own understanding, our own comfort zone of learning this particular language. So certain systems or certain structures that are formed in your brain over time that helps you grasp a particular concept or particular language. So yes, we are born with this tool, but that tool helps us absorb and learn particular vocabulary, the grammar,
Okay.
and help the children understand the concept. So he says that the language acquisition tool plays an important part in helping children grasp the concept. So yes, this is something we're born with. However, the vocabulary and the grammar and the key terms, things that we learn, that is built over time. It evolves. It's done over time,
Okay.
right? Make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
Okay. Um, that's about it.
Okay.
Then there's a counter argument.
But do you not think that, a person's surrounding shapes everything, like the language they speak? Like, I just don't get his theory much.
So, Chomsky basically created this hypothetical tool and said that in everybody's brain, or every child's brain, there's a language acquisition device, and it helps you pick everything. So that device basically, okay, let's give you a technical version. Okay, so
Okay.
we imagine a child is a mobile phone. We have an app in
Okay.
ourselves, and it stores all the words we hear and key terms that we hear,
Okay.
and then it helps us think about it and then use them. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's in simple words, that's what it is. So um I mean, he was a professor at MIT. I mean, we can't argue
Yeah, we can't,
with
but
his
it's,
theory.
yeah,
But
I know, but
um so you could say that your the lad is a hypothetical tool that is connected into your brain that helps a child
okay.
rapidly learn and understand language. So this is your application, let's say, that helps a child rapidly learn and understand language. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
it is that if that tool did not exist, we would not be able to, a child would not be um, learn and understand the language. So if that application is missing in your phone, you won't be able to access this particular document or video or whatever it is. So you need to
Okay.
have that. So do you get the connection? How I'm
Yeah,
creating an
yeah,
application? Yeah, is it making sense now?
yeah.
Okay. So he says that, so unusual that how a child can acquire language abilities and and how they can learn grammar and syntax and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
how is that possible? So he says that it's only possible through LAD, okay, the language acquisition device, right? And it's something that helps you absorb the concepts and the process and the complexities, and it helps you understand the whole thing. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can find an example for you. So he said he did conduct various experiments. Okay, so he said
Yeah.
every single lad has like general stuff. So every single language, no matter what language we a child may be part of, or any culture he may be part of, every language
Yeah.
has a noun, it has a verb, it has a positive
Yeah.
speech, it has negative speech. There's a yes, there's a no, there's a yeah, na, and there's a formal version and informal version. So it's a very generic thing that helps a child to. So it's the goods and the bads. Every languages are similar. That's what
Yeah.
he's saying, because
Mm-hmm.
they're all the same. They're all the same thing. There's a formal, there's an there's a subject, verb, object. All those ideas are there. So children seem to understand that all sentences should have the structure of a subject, verb, object, even before they're able to speak the full sentence. Have you ever thought about it? So a child is speaking words, right? So he
Yeah.
says, ball, play. He's using a noun and a verb automatically. How is
Yeah.
that possible? Have you ever thought about it? It's like, why did he not say ball, eat? He
Yeah.
said ball,
Yeah.
play. So he understands the connection between the ball and the play, the concept of playing, right? So how is
Yeah.
that possible? So through his experiment, he noticed that young children, well before reaching the language fluency, would notice if adults around them, spoke in a grammatically incorrect manner. And he found that children attempted to, apply grammatical words, and it was just something natural in them. It
Yeah.
was just something natural in there. So, in following the English rules of grammar, a child might pluralize, typically would say fish and fishes and deer as deers, even though logically it's fish and deer. It stays that way. But a child, they would know that it's plural. So they would naturally say, oh, it's fishes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is it making sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is
Okay.
making sense.
Finally, thank God. I can breathe. The coffee is kicking in now. All right. Then we finally have the last bit, the language support system. Okay. Now look at this. Who was the second guy in our list? What was his name?
uh,
Burner, right?
let me just check. I don't
Yeah.
remember his name. Okay, let me just check this. It was Burner, yes. Burner
Yeah.
Language Acquisition Support System.
Okay, so this is language acquisition device,
Okay.
and this is language acquisition support system by Burner.
Okay.
Okay. Now look,
Okay.
your let's talk about, so Burner introduced this particular theory, the social interactionist theory. Let's focus on that first. Social
Okay.
interactionist. I'm sure these are present in our textbook as well. So we'll go over them and from the
Yeah.
textbook as well from in the next class. We'll go over it from the
Okay.
textbook and see if we've missed anything out. Okay.
Okay.
So the social interactions theories, it says that a child, not a child innate capabilities so it acknowledges that a child's innate abilities of a child, it helps them acquire language, yes,
Okay.
but so at one point Berner is agreeing with what was his name, Chomsky, so helps acquire language, okay, but he also says that the social interaction plays a crucial role in linguistic development. So we saw the lad theory from a child's perspective. So it's like a built-in system in child's mind, right?
Yeah.
Here, a child is alone and playing his own role in his own cognitive development. Yeah. But
Okay.
last is an adult's perspective.
Okay.
The role an adult plays in the cognitive development of a child. Okay. So LAS, language acquisition support system, are the adults. So the support system are the adults, right? So
Yeah.
LAS is the network of adults who have, obviously they're more knowledgeable than the kids, of course, right? So they have
Yeah.
the knowledge, and it's about how they interact
Yeah.
with a young child. Now, this is where the role of the mother or the father comes in our speech in question section 2 of our
Okay.
paper 3,
Yeah.
right? So it's how they interact with the young child to support language development.
Yeah.
And this is constantly reminding me of that mother who was constantly questioning and encouraging her child to, answer questions. That's what we see in every single past paper we've seen. The mother is constantly asking questions or
Yeah.
encouraging interrogative questions to encourage the social development. So this is where the theory hits it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we can actually break LAS down, right? So LAS is language acquisition, and it is the support system. Let's break it into two parts.
Okay.
Language acquisition is the process by which a child learns their language and communication skills, right? So this is
Yeah.
where a child learns language. I'm writing very messy because my brain is working really fast. Child learns
Okay.
language and develops um, communication skills. And when I say the support system, it's the network that supports or aids a child's linguistic development. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I had to break it down, this is what it is, right? Breaking
Okay.
it down.
Yeah.
So lad and lass, uh, Chomsky's lad and Berner's lass, they're kind of closely linked together. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Um, So Berner, he did agree with Chomsky's assertion about a child having an inbuilt, innate drive to be able to learn language. However, he also believed that this could not be done alone. He said that a child, he may have that ability built in his mind, but he cannot do it just with the ability. He also needs the social interaction and the support system from the
Yeah.
parents. So the acquisition part, this is where Chomsky and Berner agree. But
Okay.
this is an addition by Berner. He says no, it can't be done. It may be innate, but it cannot be done without the support system. So Berner believes that children require social input to learn language effectively, which can come in many forms. It could be done through various forms like parent support.
Mm-hmm.
It could be done through the caregiver or the babysitter. It could be
Mm-hmm.
done through friends or school peers. It could be done through teachers or any professional in a child's life. It could be there. So basically, the last relies on the input of more knowledgeable other. Who is the knowledgeable? These guys. These guys are
Okay.
the knowledgeable others. I am glad you did not do these theories on your own.
Yep.
These threes were challenging.
Yeah, they they are challenging.
Okay, but do you
Yeah.
understand it now?
Yeah, but I think I'm still gonna go through this recording once more and then look
Yes,
at
of course.
videos
Yeah, yeah.
just
Of
to get
course,
like a
we'll
better.
go over it from the textbook as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so okay. Let me give an example. So, um, you could say, the nursery rhymes that. So let's say, every single parent will sing baby, baby, or Johnny, Johnny, yes, mama, or Baba, or whatever, and twinkle, twinkle, little star to their child, right? That's like a typical childhood song rhyme for every single child that is born. However, there may be new songs introduced to children in kindergarten that your parents don't know. For example, there's a new one that I learned in my in when I was working with the nursery kids. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. There's one on a cocoa melon. There's a belly on my belly, my belly button, and then there's
No
one.
idea,
Um,
miss.
and then there's one about the pinky finger. About the fish, something like that. I don't know. But your your parents will teach you the typical ones, and then you go to a nursery, and then you learn further development. That's a true example of the sports
Yeah.
system. Okay, so even through friends and peers, young children often make up their own words and languages with their own friends too. You know, even though these languages might not be standard English, and but they will still help a child's motor skills. They will still be able to develop, you know, their own language. Like you
Yeah.
Gen Z lot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is from our times.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you up to. So this is from our times,
Yeah.
but this is what it is. Okay. So do you get the connection between LAS and LAD, both the theories and the importance and the difference between the two?
Yeah, I do get it, but I just feel like you need to go through it again to really get
Okay,
it.
you are gonna go over it as homework. You're
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
in the next class, I am going to go over it from the textbook with you as well, and I'm going to
Okay. Yeah.
ask you about all three of the theories, and you have to tell me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that sounds
So
nice.
when you actually, I don't mind if you make notes by tomorrow, if you make notes after our Thursday's class, but
Okay.
eventually I want you to write down what you understood of the three theories and share it with
Yeah.
me so I know that you've understood the right concept.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And